The moon was like a silver plate and the stars filled the sky. At the summit of the cliff, Xiao Yan lay on the grass and in his mouth was a strand of green grass. He chewed it slightly and let the bitterness spread into his mouth slowly. He raised his white palm and put it in front of him, blocking the moon and only letting some moonlight pass through the gaps between his fingers. He looked at the giant circular silver moon in the sky. Thinking back the testing in the afternoon, Xiao Yan sighed lightly. He lazily pulled his hand back and rested both hands on his head. He looked absent-minded. 15 years already, huh? A soft voice that suddenly was spat out from the young teen without any warning. In Xiao Yan's mind, there was a secret that only he himself knew. He wasn't a person from this world. More accurately, his soul wasn't from this world. He was from a deep blue star called Earth. As for unexplainable mystery of why he would be here, he himself had no clue. However, after living here for some time, he slowly realized he passed through to the other side. As he grew older, he slowly came to understand bits and pieces of this continent. This continent was called the Du Qi continent. On the continent, there wasn't many tales of magic users and their effects, but rather, Du Qi was the main star. On this big piece of land, the training of Du Qi had become commonplace after the hard work of countless individuals who continued to train beyond generations, expanding the knowledge surrounding Du Qi all the way to the top. Du Qi and mankind are one and the same in everyday life, and as such, Du Qi is extremely important in the continent. It could be called irreplaceable. As the number of levels in Du Qi kept increasing, so did the number of ways to train it. Some were better than others, as expected. After going through a system of analysis, the Du Qi rankings in the Du Qi continent got split into 4 different classes: Tian, Di, Xuan, Huang, and every class was split further into beginner, medium, and high ranks. The Du Qi techniques you learned also determined how strong you would be. For example, if a person practiced a Xuan class medium rank technique, he would naturally be stronger than a person who practiced a Huang class high rank technique. In the Du Qi continent, to differentiate the strong from the weak, there are 3 criteria that need to be looked at. First, and also the most important, is your natural body strength. If a person only has a 1-star level of strength, even if he practiced the Tian class high-rank techniques, he wouldn't be able to beat a Huang class combat master. Next is technique level. If 2 people of the same innate strength were to battle, the one with the better technique will obviously win. Lastly is Dou technique. Dou technique is a special kind of skill that is used when controlling Dou Qi, and in the land of Dou Qi, Dou technique is also separated into Tian, Di, Xuan, Huang. Dou Qi in the continent speaks for itself, but Dou technique is different. Almost everyone starts off with a Dou technique class of Huang. If you wanted to learn more advanced control skills, you would need to join a sect or enroll in a Dou technique school. Of course, there are some who, by chance, manage to learn the skills that others before have left behind, or those who have compatible Dou techniques. For these people, their combat level might be slightly higher than normal. Relying on these 3 aspects, you can determine who is strong and who is weak. All in all, if you manage to learn a high-level Dou technique, the benefits in the future would be enormous. However, high-level Dou techniques are really hard to come by as a commoner. Those that are open to the public are normal Huang class techniques. For those bigger clans or small sects, Xuan class techniques are the norm. For example, in Xiao Yan's clan, their highest level technique was only practiced by the clan leader. Lion Wind Strike. It was a wind-style Xuan class medium-rank Du technique. Above the Xuan class would be the Dai class, but this kind of high-level techniques might only obtainable by a powerful country-like organization. As for the Tian class, in 100 years, it hasn't appeared once. As previously stated, commoners trying to get a high-level technique is like trying to climb a mountain without gear. However, nothing is absolute. In the world of Du Qi, there are thousands of clans. In the north, there are people referred to as unbeatable. They fused their soul with wild animals and became barbarians. In the south, there are smart and talented high-class beast spirit clans, and even the strange and infamous underworld people. Because of the vastness of the continent, there are bound to be cases of nameless figures who, by chance, happened upon a miracle that made them strong. Or perhaps there might be people who are bound by fate to discover strong techniques. In the land of Duchi, there is one famous sentence: if you find yourself stuck in a ditch or forsaken by the world, don't panic. Take 2 steps forward and maybe you'll find yourself stronger than ever before. Of course, though this line isn't false, in the 1,000 years of history in the continent, there aren't many stories of people getting strong by random chance. As a result of this, every day there are countless individuals who try to break through and discover a new skill or technique, but instead only return with a broken hip or leg. All in all, this continent is full of mysteries and miracles. To access the vault of secret Duchi techniques, you must at least be a full-fledged dojo to meet the basic requirements. For Xiao Yan, it seemed so far away. Xiao Yan spat the grass out and quickly stood up and made a maniacal face. He faced the sky and shouted, "God damn it! How could I be played for a fool like this?" In his past life, Xiao Yan was a mediocre, average commoner. Wealth, fame, and beauty seemed to run parallel to his life, never intersecting it. Then, when he came to this continent, Xiao Yan was shocked. Because of a second set of experiences, his spirit became much stronger than the average person. It must be known that in the Duchi continent, your spirit is decided upon at birth. Maybe as you grew older it would strengthen a slight bit, but there is no known technique to train your spirit to be stronger. It was Xiao Yan's strong spirit that gave him his talent, as well as his fame as a genius. For an average person, if they were told that they could be a genius, there's little doubt that they would claim their fame and live the high life. For the run-of-the-mill person like Xiao Yan, when he started training his doujinshi, the temptation of being able to rise to fame would be unbearable. Of course, he wouldn't choose to stay hidden and continue to train. If there wasn't any accident, Xiao Yan could perhaps grow even more with his genius label. Unfortunately, at 11, his label was stolen from him, and in one night, a genius turned into a piece of trash. After shouting at the top of his lungs for a while, Xiao Yan finally calmed down and his face turned calm again. No matter how angry he got, he wouldn't be able to get his strength back. Bitterly shaking his head, Xiao Yan felt miserable. He had no clue what happened to his body, and nothing seemed out of the ordinary. His spirit was growing as he aged, as expected. His absorption of doji chi was also extraordinarily fast. It was faster than the strongest fighter from a few years back. All these factors should have meant that Xiao Yan was a natural genius, but all the doji chi that he absorbed seemed to be completely gone. His self-esteem took a big hit, and he could only feel depressed. Taking another deep breath, Xiao Yan raised his hand. On his finger was a black ring of simple design. The material used to make it was unknown. On it were some markings as well. This was the only present his late mother gave to him before she passed. He started wearing it since the age of 4, and even now, 10 years later, he was still wearing. It was a precious gift from his mother, and Xiao Yan treasured it dearly. He rubbed the ring and said bitterly, "These few years I've really let mother down, huh?" Sighing deeply, Xiao Yan quickly stood up and turned around, saying to the black figure from the woods, "Father, why have you come?" Though his doji-chi was only 3rd stage, his spiritual awareness was akin to that of a 5-star doji, perhaps even better. While thinking about his mother, he felt a sudden disturbance from the woods. Yan one, it's already quite late. Why are you still here?" From within the cluster of trees, after a moment of silence, a tender voice sounded. The trees shaked a little and a middle-aged man jumped out, face smiling widely. His eyes were locked on his son under the moonlight. The middle-aged man was wearing an expensive-looking gray tunic. He walked with pride and dignity, and his face showed it. He was the Xiao clan leader, as well as Xiao Yan's father, a 5-star doshi, Xiao Zhan. "Father, why have you not returned to rest yet?" Facing the middle-aged man, Xiao Yan's smiled, thickened. Although he had another set of memories when he was born, the person before him treated him as with love and care. When he lost his power and spirit, the love did not lessen but grew instead. This poked at Xiao Yan's heart, making Xiao Yan recognize him as his father. Yan are you still thinking about what happened this afternoon? Taking a big step forward, Xiao Yan smiled again. Ha, what's there to think about? It's within my expectations. Xiao Yan shook his head and forced a smile. Looking at Xiao Yan's tender face, Xiao Yan let out a sigh. The both of them sinked into silence for a while before Xiao Yan said, Yan you're 15 now, aren't you? Yes, father. Just one more year, and you have to attend the adulthood ceremony, Xiao Yan said. Yes, father. Only a year left. Xiao Yan's fist clenched for a while before he replied. He was extremely clear what the adulthood ceremony meant. Once the ceremony had passed, for the Xiao Yan that didn't train, he would be subject to the criteria of searching for Du Qi techniques. Because he was so weak, he would be sent to do a normal job in the other parts of the Zhao clan. This was a clan rule, and even if the clan leader was his father, he would not be able to do anything about it. If one didn't reach doja by the age of 25, the clan would abaddon them. Sorry, Yan if you don't reach the Doji Chi 7th stage by next year, I can't do anything to help you, no matter how much I want to. In this clan, I'm not the sole decision maker. There's also those old geezers waiting for me to make a mistake. Looking at the peaceful Xiao Yan, Xiao Yan voiced guiltily, Father, I will continue to work hard. 1 year later, I'll definitely reach the Doji Chi 7th stage. Xiao Yan reassured his father. 4 stages in 1 year? If it were me from before, it may have been possible, but now, I might not have much of a chance. Though Xiao Yan was trying to reassure his father, he himself was bitter about it. Knowing full well Xiao Yan's position, Xiao Yan could only answer with a sigh. He knew that 4 stages of Dao Zhi Qi in a year was extremely difficult. He gently patted Xiao Yan's head and smiled, saying, It's getting quite late, you should go back and get some rest. Tomorrow the clan has a guest, and you shouldn't miss the ceremony. Guest? Who? Xiao Yan asked, full of curiosity. You'll find out tomorrow. Xiao Yan winked at the restless Xiao Yan, leaving with a big smile on his face. Don't you worry, father. I'll work really hard. Xiao Yan rubbed the simple ring while raising his head and whispering. Just when Xiao Yan raised his head, the black ring on his finger suddenly lit up with a mysterious glow and flashed. Blinking, Xiao Yan realized it wasn't a person.